Hey guys, Mike here from DIY AQUAPROs. Today I'll be doing an overview of API's first layer pure laterite substrate additive. Now if you're into planted aquariums like me, you probably know just how important it is to have a good available source of iron for your plants. Often a limiting factor, without a decent source of this micronutrient, photosynthesis will be inhibited and many plants won't be able to grow to their full potential. There's a link in the description to this stuff at the best price I was able to find for it, so if at the end of this video you're interested in giving your plants a boost, you know where to find it. Before I unbox this stuff and talk about how I incorporate it into my substrate, let's discuss what this laterite really is and why it can be so beneficial to our plants. So laterite is a highly aggregated type of soil formed by intense chemical weathering in certain tropical regions throughout the globe. Tropical weathering, also referred to as laterization, happens in these places because of the hot and humid conditions paired with just the right combination of rainfall and drought. Over time, water that passes over certain parent rock grabs a hold of minerals and ends up producing a laterite layer in the soil below. Laterite gets its red color because it's high in iron oxides and other iron compounds. This material is made up of a very high percentage of iron when compared to others, making it useful in several different industrial applications. Lucky for us aquarists, it's also extremely useful as an iron source and a high surface area growing medium. But here lies an issue. Aquarium plants require iron to be in a specific oxidation state, being soluble iron 2, also called ferrous iron. Now the iron found in laterite is bound to other compounds and for the most part is in an insoluble state. So how does this iron still supply our plants with usable iron 2? Let's get a little sciencey here and figure this out. A few different mechanisms exist to free up bound iron by transforming it back to bioavailable iron 2. The most relevant in this case is the activity of microorganisms and the plants themselves. Certain anaerobic bacteria actually use ferric iron as an electron acceptor the same way you and your fish use oxygen. This process is effective at reducing iron to iron 2, making it available to plants for a short period of time. The next methods are performed by the plant roots. Roots will excrete protons or acid, which is also an effective way of reducing and solubilizing nearby iron to iron 2, where it can then be imported into the plant. Certain plants may also secrete chelator molecules called phytosiderophores that scavenge nearby iron, allowing the plant to uptake this important micronutrient. So now that we have an understanding of how plants can access this cache of iron, let's open up this box and talk about how this stuff is used. Now I purchased this 55-ounce box of first layer pure laterite off Amazon for much cheaper than what I've got it for in the past. API recommends using at least 1 ounce for every gallon of tank water, but in my opinion it really depends on how dense you're going to plant your tank. I don't think you can really overdo it here, but I've always used a little bit less than what's recommended and seem to still get really good results. Before using this stuff, you want to rinse it off with regular tap water to help remove some of the fine dust and smaller particles. This is also going to help reduce any chance of discoloration in your tank, although you would have to use a lot of this stuff and handle it pretty carelessly to do so. Once you've got that out of the way, you're now going to simply add it to your substrate mix. Now I think people out there are going to use this stuff in 3 different settings, either with gravel or sand alone, with EcoComplete or something similar, or like I do, with soil. If you choose to use this with gravel or sand alone, you're going to want to lay down a layer of this stuff on the bottom, along with a small cap, and then gently mix it in, followed by an additional 2 inches or so of the same substrate. Now this stuff doesn't float, but you do want to try and confine it to the bottom layer of the substrate. This same technique can also be used with substrates like EcoComplete if you're wanting to give your plants a little extra iron. When it comes to using it with soil like I do, I simply mix in about 2 to 3 cups for every 12 liters of organic potting mix. Since the soil is already my bottom layer, I've got it confined to where I want it to be. Again, I'm using the soil, not the number of gallons my tank holds, as a way of measuring how much I need, and again, this is my own recipe. If I'm going to be setting up a tank that's just packed with plants, I'll simply use a little bit more. Overall, I give this stuff an A+ and recommend all planted tank keepers out there give it a try at least once. It's a convenient way of providing your plants with a source of iron where they might just need it most. It's a little hard to tell how long this stuff lasts, but I feel pretty comfortable using it as the sole source of iron for at least 6 months. You can always add in small amounts to select places with a pair of tweezers as you see me do here, or you can add it to a gelatin capsule the same way you would make DIY root tabs. Now don't forget there's a link down in the description for this stuff. I think you'll really enjoy adding it the next time you set up a planted tank. Hey, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and check out DIYAquapros.com for the full list of recommended gear, as well as aquarium science, projects, and aquatic life profile videos. We'll see you next time.